to Mount Ice Arena, everyone. Scott Moore with you. Second intermission. Michigan State 1, Ferris State 1. Geez, seems just like exactly the same as Friday night. So we'll take a look at some of the goals from from the second period. We'll take a look at an interview that Eric did with Ferris head coach Bob Daniels. A whole lot coming up here in the second intermission. And let's take a look at the one goal by Ferris State. The first goal of the period, 5 minutes and 40 seconds into the second period. We'll take a look at what went on. Greg Payne got the goal as they turned around, stuffed it through. And they came out with a 1-0 lead, 5:40 to go. It was Greg Payne from Ken Surgat at 5:40. But then Michigan State came right back on the power play just 11 seconds later. And Sean Behrens turned the trick here. The shot comes from way outside and puts it through into the net. Michigan State ties it up at 1 each. Now remember, Friday night in the second period, it was Michigan State that scored first, and Ferris came back within 14 seconds to knot the score back up. This time it only took 11 for Michigan State to tie it back up. Well, before the game this evening, our Eric Peasley got a chance to talk with Ferris head coach Bob Daniels. So let's take a look at that interview right now.
3, 2, 1. Ferris State Bulldog head coach Bob Daniels is with me now. And coach, quite a bit different perspective coming off our conversation from Saturday night, referring back to Friday night's locker room chatter after the game that you lost in overtime. A big win for the Bulldogs on Saturday night.
Yeah, the kids, obviously the locker room was very happy last night, but I think we were pretty much under control in the fact that the kids knew, hey, we got one more game in front of us, and if we don't win tonight, obviously it's all for naught. So, you know, even though they were happy, and certainly there was a much more spirited locker room last night, you know, it was under control with the thought that, hey, we had a big game tonight yet.
Coach, I think the key to that game was the first 10 minutes. Michigan State came up with several key opportunities, a couple of sparkling saves by Jeff Blashill.
Hey, without a doubt, that was a difference right there. If Jeff doesn't stand on his head in the first 10 minutes, we might be down 2 or 3 goals. I mean, Michigan State came at us hard, and there was one save in particular, I believe an Anson Carter, a cross-crease pass, and I mean, half the people here were out of their seats, and certainly I figured it was in the net. I really did. I thought, all right, we're down 1, and he made a save there, and then it was probably about 2 minutes later, I'm not sure of the time, but we took a shot, hit one of their defenseman sticks up over Elbin's head, a fluke goal, and nothing Chad could have done about it, but that seemed to be the difference there. You know, it really, I don't know if it hurt the Spartans so much as it really helped us, though. It gave us some confidence and something that was really much needed after the loss the night before.
Confidence in a couple of your key blue liners. Again, we talked about them Friday night, Parrish and Roach.
Yeah, both played well, and Andy's not really racking up points. I think he had 2 assists last night, but he's playing really solid for us. He moves the puck out of our end, and Dwight Parrish is really, you know, doing what he's done throughout his 4 years, playing good, solid defense, gobbling out minutes out there, and being a great team leader.
You talked about your net minding situation a couple of times that we spoke earlier on in the season. Of course, Jeff Blashill coming up very big with a win on Saturday night, and looking for him again.
Yeah, Jeff will be in the nets again tonight, and he's over his past career in junior hockey. He's been in big games and win championships, so I think he'll be able to stand the test here tonight.
Well, Coach, a very tight checking affair on Friday night. A little more wide open on Saturday. The Bulldogs getting the goals and able to go on to that 5-1 victory. What do you look for here tonight, third and deciding game of this series?
I guess my thoughts are about the first 10 minutes. I think there'll be a lot of motion by both teams, and I got a feeling it could be kind of sloppy hockey in that first 10 minutes, and you know, it's something the coach is really worried about, because sloppy hockey sometimes results in a couple goals against, but I do expect that, you know, just because of the nerves, it might be a little sloppy. I think after the first 10 minutes, it'll settle down. Depending on what the score is at that point, I think it'll stay low scoring, because both teams, there's going to be a little fatigue setting in. Both teams have really relied heavily on their top players, shortened their benches in the previous 2 games, and I think with fatigue, the creativity that you need for offense starts at the window. The defense will be there, but the offense won't. So after the first 10 minutes, I would expect goals to be hard to come by for both teams.
Finally, let's talk about the CCHA playoffs. Just a moment. Michigan, Lake Superior, Bowling Green on their way already down to the Joe. Michigan State or Ferris State here tonight play either Lake Superior or Michigan.
That's right, and boy, not a lot of surprises in the playoffs. I guess the one surprise would be BG over Western Michigan, but BG's playing great hockey right now, and that might be one of the teams that you'd have to really watch out for down the stretch.
Head coach Bob Daniels trying to move his Bulldogs down the road to the Joe here from One Arena.
Eric Peasley with Ferris head coach Bob Daniels. In that second period, Chad Albin came up with 13 saves. It brings his total for the evening to 22. Jeff Bloschel had 8, and that brings his total to 20 on the evening. Couple things to take care of here. Congratulations to Spartan wrestlers David Morgan and Brian Piccolo. They won Big Ten championships at 118 and 190 successively. And congratulations to Karen Langland and the women's basketball team. After a week off, they picked up an NCAA tournament bid this afternoon. They will be headed out to Amherst, Massachusetts to take on UMass. Details coming up. They will be in action this week. Let's take a look at our trivia question now. It's sponsored by Campus Ford. They're doing what it takes. Let's take a look at the question from the first intermission. Spartans have set records for most penalty minutes in a period, most penalty minutes in a series, and of course, most penalty minutes in a game against what team? These very same Bulldogs of Ferris State. That was back in December of 1988. And congratulations to Devon Hill of Lansing. He knew the answer, or she. Devon Hill knew the answer from Lansing, and Devon Hill has picked up a lube oil and filter from the folks out at Campus Ford. They are doing what it takes. Well, Eric and Joe will be back with the final 20. It's going to be the final 20 of the season for one of these teams. Which one? We'll find out in a minute. Stay tuned. More Spartan hockey coming up after this on TCI Sports.
You know, there's a lot of automobile dealers, but only one can sell the most new and used cars and trucks. Only one can have the lowest prices or highest trade-in allowances or best financing. Only one automobile dealer can have the largest sales staff or the most awards for customer satisfaction. Only one can have the biggest service facility, parts inventory, or the most advanced body shop or longest service hours. What's amazing is, it is only one. Shaheen Chevrolet. All that, only one. Get more than you expected. See Shaheen's.
TCI's coverage of The Road to the Joe is brought to you by Jiffy Lube, Lansing Auto Glass, Douglas Signs, Scott Adams, The Stripe Man, and Campbell Catering. TCI Cable wishes to thank all of our sponsors for this year's Road to the Joe coverage.
We're back. Our second intermission winding down right here. We'd also like to thank Shaheen Chevrolet Geo, 3901 South Martin Luther King Boulevard here in Lansing, and Lansing Ice Arena, the home of the Greater Lansing Amateur Hockey Association and the proud sponsor of the Lansing Ice Arena Player of the Game. Well, Joy, 2 periods down, perhaps one more to go for either of those teams. These teams rather will wait and see. Ferris State got the lead, 1-0. Spartans come back later with a beautiful shot in a power play by Sean Behrens. We're all tied at 1 at the end of 2.
Well, if we haven't led throughout the weekend, Eric, we don't care as long as we're leading by the end of this 20. And it's going to be a great 20 minutes. I'm excited to watch it. We've had some great hockey so far these first 2 periods. Those 4 other fans that sat and watched Michigan play and Lake Superior play, they haven't seen good hockey. We got it right here and right now. It's going to be interesting to see what develops.
Playoff hockey, of course, is a breed all of its own. You throw the regular season records out the window, and that's exactly what Ferris State and Michigan State have done here this weekend. The Spartans, of course, winning an overtime thriller Friday night. Ferris State coming back with a big win, 5-1 on Saturday night. Now they're here tied at 1, looking to take that next step on the road to the Joe down there at Detroit at the Joe Louis Arena. But you wonder in your mind right now, they gave it a lot the first 30 minutes of the game. The whole first period was pretty much high intensity. The first half of the second period was pretty much high intensity. Then you can see both teams just kind of slowing down a little bit as that period went along. Remains to see now who's got the most left in the gas tank and see how they're going to do.
Well, it's been a long weekend. It's been a long season for both of these teams, and rightfully so. You know, these guys have worked very hard. Bob Daniels said it well. He said what both teams have done throughout the weekend, you want to put your best players out there whenever you get the chance. They've shortened their benches up considerably. They're trying to get any type of offense they can together. Right now, it's a heck of a lot easier playing defense than it is trying to create things offensively when you're fatigued. Defensively, you can hang back a little bit more, hold on, grip, and do the snug and just hang on to them a little bit more. Offensively, it's a lot harder to get things going. It's going to be interesting to see who's got it in their tank, as you said.
Well, the bowling, or rather, the goaltending situation at both ends of the rink tonight has been very interesting. You got Jeff Blashill, who comes off the hot night on Saturday, shutting down the Spartans all the way. Played a good, solid first period, as did Michigan State at Chad Albin. They both played very well in the second period. Chad Albin from Michigan State, of course, coming up big there, especially towards the closing moments of that second, in order to keep Ferris off the board one more time.
Well, that's impressive, and you know, we alluded to that earlier. When you go down there and you watch your opposing goaltender come up with some incredible saves, you're down there standing in your own net just trying to keep your feet from freezing. It's very interesting, and then they have to come down there and he has to make a couple of stellar saves himself. It's very hard to do. Chad Albin has answered the call many times here this evening, so this young man is into the game. Both netminders are into the game. We've had great offense. The shots are just about even. Ferris might be ahead by 2, I think it is, but needless to say, Eric, throw everything out the window. We're knotted at 1. It's going to be a great period of hockey.
Hey, third period, elimination game. The loser goes home. The winner takes I-96 down to the Joe for the CCHA Championship playoffs next weekend. To, as we said before, join Lake Superior, the University of Michigan, and Bowling Green. Right now, we've got third period hockey action, regulation play coming up. Eric Pisa along with Joey Campbell. We've got it all for you. Sit back and enjoy as Anson Carter and Jason Hodel face off at center, controlled by the Bulldogs. Sergei tried to flip it ahead. It goes up into the Bulldog bench. And we've got a quick stoppage of play here in the third period.
Yeah, Eric, you want to pick a hero out there tonight?
Oh, my.
Oh, I put you on the spot. Anson or York?
Michael York is overdue. He has had numerous opportunities this weekend. Either the defensive taking care of him and his shots, or the goaltender Blashill has come up very big indeed, and it'd be nice to see something pop for that young man. Friday night, of course, the hero was Jeff Kozakowski, and it would be fitting, I guess, for a freshman to come up big. But any one of the players can do it.
Yeah, you don't care.
We don't care.
As long as they're wearing white and green.
Of course, the Bulldog fans out there probably thinking the same thing. Sure, you've got your number 1 or 2 choices out there. But somebody put the puck in the net, and at this point of the season, at this point of this hockey game, Joe, you just hope it's a good, clean goal and nothing fluky that's going to win it either way.
Oh, that's exactly right. It's been a great weekend of hockey.
Here's Kozakowski back at center, covering Irvin. Over to the far side, the Bulldogs bring it back in, and they were offside there, did not wait long enough, as Irvin was trapped inside the line. So that'll bring the faceoff outside the Spartan zone, just in front of the bench. Less than a minute gone here. 20 saves for Blashill after 2 periods, 22 saves for Chad Albin after 2 periods. So pretty close to being even there, as the score indicates it's even at 1-1 at the beginning of the third period. Controlled by Ferris. Parrish dumps it in behind the net all the way around. Kozakowski has it. Flips it back the other way. Irwin there to meet him. Off the boards far side, but not out. Over skating it, the Bulldogs can't get a handle on it. They finally move along with the stick. Comes in behind the net for Irwin. He tried to center it. Carter has his all tied up. Kylo Harleton takes his man out of the play. So Kozakowski comes in, takes over, bangs it hard off the boards and outside the line. Sergei drives it right back in.
Back in off the back of Chagas.
Looking for Michael Watt on the left side. Tipped into the zone. No icing. Play continues deep in the Ferris State end. This is Andy Roach, the assistant captain. Very deliberate here now are the Bulldogs as they're looking to set something up. Finally, the Spartans come through center ice. Bell overskates it. Barons couldn't get there. Now he chases it down in the Spartan zone. He has Smith and Bogus there with him defensively. Smith cleared it off the boards far side. Racing for it now is Richard Keys. Tries to get between his men. Roach goes down, and play continues in the corner. Keys and Roach go down in a heap, and here comes Barons to dig it out. Roach just kind of pulled it into him with a stick, and
I tell you,
very wisely, Roach and Keys just separate from one another.
We've alluded to Michael York playing a great weekend of hockey. That Richard Keys, you can't knock that young man from hustle determination. He's been busted tail all weekend. Yeah, he doesn't have a lot to show for it, but I tell you what, you sure realize who's doing the job out there when you come to watching guys play game in, game out. That Richard Keys is always playing 110%.
Face off to the right of the netminder, Jeff Blashill. Less than 2 minutes gone, third period. We're tied at 1. Ferris State and Michigan State. It's all on the line now. 1 period of regulation play remaining. Goes out of Harleton behind the net. Flipped it loose. Tyler Harleton couldn't clear it. Jump on the twine out front. Bennett's went after it. He couldn't come up with a handle on it. Overskated it. Back the other way comes Tuzzolino. The Tuz in over the line. Tuzzolino centering pass. Score! Steve Ferranti drives it home on a one-timer right down the middle of the slot.
Well, you think they like that here at Monterey? Folks are on their feet. I'll tell you what, a great play there by Tuzzolino, busting down the right side. He just had enough strength and determination to get by the defender. Held on to it. The other winger was busting in on the left side, took the other defenseman with him. Ferranti just stays back in the slot, gets the goal. There you look at Tuzzolino's persistent. There you see the right hand of your screen. Ferranti just comes busted in there. He gets a great pass in the slot. There you see him, bingo. He bangs it home. What a great play there by Tuzzolino. What an effort.
Oh, indeed it was. The Spartans with a 2-1 lead. Now they forced the play back into their own zone, coming into cover. Tyler Harleton right off that faceoff. The Bulldogs make a line change. Surgat knocks it down at center. This is Keith Surgat, the defenseman, brings it up to the blue line. Drives a weak shot in on Albin, who sticks that one aside. Goes in behind the net for Harleton. Off the boards, far side, but not out. Knocked down loose in the circle. Carter has it now for Michigan State. Carter taken down from behind, no call. He's going to let it go. Here comes Carter and Watt in the far side. Carter was tangled up. No call on that. Chagas watched it all the way. It's going to be tough to make any kind of a call in a game like this right now, unless it's really blatant. That's about as blatant as you can get without hurting somebody, I would say. And now he rules a glove ahead in the neutral zone.
Well, one of the Bulldogs had played it. That's why the argument is coming from Chris Smith. What's interesting to see, Eric, you know, you think at this point, we got 17 and it's 17-16 left with a 2-1 advantage. You would think that goal right there here in East Lansing would be enough. Boy, we're not going to say that because we've seen other things happen. That's right. These guys, the Bulldogs have been very persistent.
The Bulldogs are very persistent and pesky, as befits their nickname. Into the zone, off the stick of Colbert. Shot Albin way out of that. Winds it around the boards and near side. Hunt turns, fires it in. Intercepted by Barons. Barons tries to get it out, comes back the other way, off the stick of Hunt. Now it's rink wide behind the net for Bogus. Bogus hard off the glass, knocked down at the blue line by Passarelli. And there's a shot by 55 Keys, and he's gone on the charge.
Well, he
no
might have
doubt
not,
about that.
We talked about it many times. He might have not heard of that whistle, Eric. It's just similar to the shot on goal that Irwin did earlier in the game. We'll kill it off, Eric. Come on.
Here.
Have faith.
16:56 to go here in the third period. Spartans have just taken a 2-1 lead on a pretty play from Tony Tuzzolino on the right wing, centering a pass to Ferranti, skating right down the slot, and he just drove it upstairs over Jeff Blashill, who did not even have a chance to get set before it found the twine. Now the power play for Ferris State takes the ice. Spartan penalty killers out there. Kozakowski, Hanson Carter, Sean Barons, Tyler Harleton. Kozakowski got that one, flipped it back to center. Roach, rink wide, Surgat. Surgat drives it in deep, wound around the boards. Watt tries to get there, lifted it high, but not out. Going into the corner and behind the net, bringing it out for Keith Surgat. Tried to fire a shot in, loose behind the net, comes out hard off the glass, and down the ice it goes. John Barons, Michael Watt rather, good job of clearing that one. Roach leaves it behind there. Finds Surgat on the right side. This is Keith Surgat up to the line, poked away. Watt brings it back into the Bulldog zone. 2-1 hockey game, third period. Third game of the three-game series, each team with a win. The victor goes down the road to Joe Lewis. Passarelli for Crimmin. Crimmin brings it back for Surgat. Doesn't get there, and it's cleared down by Kozakowski. 1 minute to go in this Ferris State power play. Behind the net, Roach once again. He's the setup man, brings it up on the right to Surgat. Back now for Colborne on the right side, left side rather. Colborne checked off the play by Bogus. Up to the loose puck, Bell. Bell takes a look, back to Colborne. Colborne skates it out of the corner. 45 seconds going to power play, far point man, Surgat. Tipped into the corner by Bogus. He tried to clear it out. Goes to Behrens and does a great job. Racing for it now is York. York is there once again. Couldn't come up with it. Roach brings it back to center. Behrens fires it right back in. 30 seconds to go in this Bulldog power play. Great penalty killing here. Surgat one more time. Brings it up into the zone. Chasing it down now, Albin. He leaves it behind there and sweeps it high off the glass near side, and out it comes. Here's York racing for it. Way out of that blast shell. He better play it clean because Behrens and York were both there. Short-handed for Michigan State. They still force the play in the Spartan zone. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Spartans back to full strength. Rhodes tees up a drive. Stick save made. The rebound comes out. And they're going to whistle that one down on the offside, I believe. And bring it back to just off center ice. Spartans killed that one off. 14:52 to go here in the third. The Spartans with a 2-1 lead.
Well, I tell you, we talked a lot about fatigue, and that's a big thing that comes into play. But right now, when you're a goal ahead, Eric, the fatigue factor is a heck of a lot easier to press on when you're ahead than it is to try to come from behind, as Ferris State has to do now.
Fans really into this hockey game right now, too.
I think a good example of that was their power play right there. They're just struggling a little bit. They just can't get it in sequence. They've had some pretty good luck this weekend putting it all together in that power play. But right there, they just seem to, nobody could be in, they're not very cohesive moving that puck in there.
We talked about the fluky goal situation. Boy, there was nothing fluky about that setup from Tony Tuzolino on the right wing, finding Ferrante, busting right down the middle. And that line is out there right now. Kozakowski up on the left side, tipped into the zone. Chasing it down now is loading, but we'll have an icing call this time against Michigan State. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment.
There's a lot of automobile dealers, but only one can sell the most new and used cars and trucks. Only one can have the lowest prices or highest trade-in allowances or best financing. Only one automobile dealer can have the largest sales staff or the most awards for customer satisfaction. Only one can have the biggest service facility, parts inventory, or the most advanced body shop or longest service hours. What's amazing is, it is only one. Shaheen Chevrolet. All that, only one. Get more than you expected. See Shaheen's.
Down to 14:43 to go here in the third period of regulation play in this third and final playoff game between Ferris State and Michigan State. Face off to the left of Chad Albin.
He just mentioned before the break is Steve Ferrante. What a goal he just came up with. A big lift for the Spartans. He's been a welcome addition this year. He had some injuries after a good campaign in freshman season. He had some injuries last year that kind of kept him in and out of the lineup. Never really got into full swing. But this year, boy, he's had a stellar performance.
Up high over the glass, way up over the glass, and there's a great souvenir for somebody.
Yeah, it's nice to see somebody catching those things instead of catching them in the noggin.
You got it. That face-off will be just off the center ice circle. Ferrante, Tuzolino, and loading out there. Ferrante to take this face-off on Bell. Spartan pep band trying to keep the crowd going. Parrish over to Muldoon. Driven into the Spartan end. Albin leaves it right there for Harleton. Back to Harleton. Brings it here to the near side. Tuzolino cleared it out. Good job. Racing for it now. Boschel again way out of his net. Steered aside for Parrish. Parrish swings it around the far side. He's going to bring it up to the blue line. Met there by Harleton. So he flips it here to the left wing. Bounces off the skates of Surgat. Back now to Bell. Muldoon wasn't ready for that drop pass, so Surgat has to pick it up. This is Ken Surgat, the freshman centerman. Younger brother right out front, the younger brother of Keith Surgat, the defenseman. Here come the Spartans now. Try to clear it up ice, they do.
Great job of Tony Tuzolino busting that play up.
You bet. Tuzolino shoots. They made the rebound in the slot. Turning, firing on that one was wide. He didn't get the handle on it. Tony Tuzolino and Ferrante. Now the Spartans complete the line change. They got the line of Carter, York, and Watt out there. 13:40 to go here in the third. Smith lets it go behind him. He can't handle it. Now it's the other way for Bogus. Carter leaves it there for Bogus. Smith right there at the side of the net. Trying to steer it up loose at center. Here comes Carter. At his own blue line. Anson Carter takes a look. Just drives it in. Carter leaves York there to chase it down as the Spartans complete a player change. York doing the work at the side of the net, and it has to be poked away by Blashill. York gets dumped hard behind the net, and there's a delayed call coming up to Ferris. The Spartans control with the netminder pulled. York back up behind the net. He tries to bring it out of the corner. It goes to Behrens, and it's finally touched up by Ferris State. Certainly hope Michael York is okay, because he got drilled hard behind the net. And he's skating off rather gingerly, but a Spartan power play takes the ice with 13:05 to go here in the third period.
Total
And
frustration
the Spartans up by
there.
1. Oh yeah, no doubt
Andy
about that.
Roach had the puck on the side of the net. Again, a little too nonchalant. Might be, again, a little fatigue factor. He's logged a lot of minutes, as we said before. But Michael York on the opposite end, just busting tail, working hard down there, really putting the pressure on, doing some great forechecking as he has all weekend. Somebody came flying in from behind and knocked him into the boards. This is one right now where Michigan State, if they can put it together, Eric, could pop one right here. It could be the doom for the Bulldogs.
Carter on the draw, controlled by Ferris. They try to get a handle on it to get it out of the zone. Kept in by York. Flipped high to the far corner. Watt chases it down with Surgat right there with him. Carter up with a loose puck behind the net. Out of the corner it comes. Steered here to the near side for Barron. Barron pulls up along the boards. York fires it back in. Winding it all around for Carter. Carter couldn't get there before it's picked off by Bennett. Now they get a 2-on-2 shorthanded. Pasquarelli, long shot. Blistered just wide. Bennett tries to keep it in. Tozzolino takes him out of the play. A minute 30 to go in the